Dominance in terms of a connection is really quite interesting because it is a lens ultimately where you can perceive, where you can feel, where you can see something about your partner that is genuinely them. Because dominance is where one person in the connection has a whole channel and the other person doesn't have that channel. There is nothing in that channel for the other person. And unlike some of the other themes in terms of connectivity, electromagnetic channels, compromised channels, within dominance, there's no inherent, I want to own this from the mind of the other person, because there's no angle for them to really long for that. So dominance is something that truly brings you the opportunity to understand something about your partner that is really them, that is not some mirage of an electromagnetic channel that truly doesn't exist, that is not some battle to win something like the compromised channels. Dominance is an aspect of who the other person is, and ultimately it's something where you can truly understand an aspect of your partner's individual nature, because you never really know your partner. You don't. You know what you become, which is the quantum of the connectivity in the aura, this central body graph. Well, you learn to live that together, but it's not either of you in terms of the two individuals in this union. It's a composite creature that is totally different from either of you. So in an aware partnership where you're truly living your individual designs, where you're open to understanding the design of your partner, dominance is an opportunity to really understand who they are, or an aspect of who they are. And it's really for the one without the dominance channel to stand back, recognize that, admire that, that's not me, and start to see the value of the union of these channels coming that are being imprinted in you, that clearly you can utilize without the not self mind trying to own that and ultimately dominate the dominance channel. And if you have no dominance channels in terms of your union, well, you're never really going to know who that other person is. Because the moment you step close to them, you have a hug, whatever, you're not hugging them, you're hugging this composite relationship that you become. And it can set up all kinds of misconceptions about who you think they are. And it's always fairly comical from my perspective when couples do end up splitting up and one of them goes off and does their own thing, and the other partner says, well, I didn't know they were like that, I didn't know they enjoyed doing that, I had no idea that was something that was really important to them. Now, of course, dominance means that you're receiving that energy, and because it's their individual design, you receive the same energy every time. So there is a potential clearly in not self, lack of aware relationships where this energy can become dominating, where it's always something that's driving you. In terms of this chart that we're looking at here, person A has an overwhelming dominance relative to person B, and that dominance is very much energized. We have a manifesting generator and a manifestor coming together, and on the surface, yes, these are both energy types, but they're very, very different in the way they utilize their energy. So to be dominated by the charisma channel, this head down, I'm busy now, don't bother me, get out of my way, can become somewhat tiring after a while for a manifestor who's far more selective in terms of what that energy is going to be put to use in. So it's about the other person recognizing the dominance, realizing that that charisma channel, the power channel, these are wonderful, productive, consistent energies that can be utilized in terms of the union, and to realize that's also going to drive you. So it's a very good thing to just break that or expel when that becomes overpowering or dominating. And it's good to see affinities in terms of the energy families for these dominances, because it brings more of an understanding as to what you're being imprinted with. The channel of concentration that person A has is going to compel person B to sit still and focus, which is the foundation ultimately of logic. This ability to focus the energy to repeat over and over and over again, because it's about pattern correction ultimately. So this particular dominance has some value because person B has the ability now to sit still and focus. They will be compelled to when they're in the aura of person A. And person A has a recognition, because one of the natural outlets for the concentration channel is the wavelength channel, where that energy can manifest as talent that has been earned through this constant repetition and gradual improvement. So person B, having found something in life that they wish to practice over and over and over again until it's refined and mastered, well, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that unless there's natural energy to go with it. This dominance in the 952 certainly brings that valuable conditioning. But again, in terms of dominance, you have to be aware of these things. Person A has this abstract 5342, the channel of maturation. It means that this relationship will go through its particular cycles, beginnings, middles, and ends. And these are experiential cycles that are not to be repeated over and over and over again like the concentration channel. You go through things once and complete them. That brings the maturation that this channel is talking about. So in terms of this union, the ultimate cycle that it's going through is the human cellular cycle, which is 7 years, which means that this particular relationship is going to have to renew itself every 7 years. Otherwise, you can't move into the next 7-year cycle and have anything fresh to grow into. So again, person B, be well aware of that. You want to even maybe push person A away before that 7-year cycle is up, so that they can come back and begin a new cycle with you that will then lock them in for another 7 years. Because every time person A truly commits to something, they're going to have to be pretty cautious, because with this channel, once you're committed, there is this genetic imperative to complete something. So you can commit to a relationship and, ultimately work on the foibles, the challenges, and that can be something very rewarding within the context of the union. Or you're going to have to wait the 7-year cycle to get out of that union that's not working for you. So this is a relationship that's going to be dominated by repeating cycles that are designed to gradually bring the union to a state of maturity and wisdom. And you couple that with the experiential way, recognition, transitoriness channels that are triggered as electromagnetics here. Well, this is a powerful cyclical relationship. And person B really is being dragged along by the cyclical nature and needs to understand that. There's always going to be change with the abstract. That can bring the excitement, but equally it can bring risk when your partner doesn't want to be dragged along by that energy. And there's this sense that the sands are always shifting in this union. So a balance in dominance channels in terms of a union on paper is a good thing. It's a transparent lens through which you can see an individual aspect of your partner that is truly them.